Okay,
Well,
so we are welcome to Organic Reach X. We are on part two of the last training series that we just started, how to set financial goals are aligned with your vision. And by this time, you should have at least done the have to be exercise, right? Before you move forward. Don't worry, like if you're taking your time, like we don't recommend going fast in any of this. And again, don't add more stress and overwhelm to you just because you weren't able to do it. But it's a really, really simple exercise. It's probably going to take you 5, 10 minutes at the most, right? So definitely do that so that this will make more sense once you
mm,
have done the previous exercise. So, on this episode, we're going to talk about numbers. And numbers, dealing with numbers, for me, is like the most unfun, boring task in business. I don't know about you, Mubarak. Do
oh,
you like numbers?
that no, no. I know I love them in aspects, different aspects, but not
Yeah,
dealing with them, right? I don't think if you're not an accountant or bookkeepers, they're fun. No, I don't think so. So, yeah. So I love dealing with them in these aspects, like dreaming and planning and doing. That's it,
yeah.
right? And then when it comes tax season, don't I don't want to even be seen.
Definitely, for sure. I will be like, husband, do this, okay? Then it will be good.
Awesome.
But yeah, you're right. When it comes to doing it this way, when it comes to like dreaming about it and
Mm.
planning it out because it's gonna move
Yeah.
the bottom line, then it gets fun, right?
Yes.
So from this perspective, we believe that once you go through this entire exercise today, and again, it's going to be simple, nothing that we do is really complex, but once you go through this exercise, you're going to have more clarity in just the little things you need to focus on every single day,
Yeah.
so that way you know that you are on the right track. It's kind of like an assessment or a metric that you kind of check, right? But you have done this before. That's the big difference. You've done the planning before. I know, again, planning is another boring word, but once you see the result of this exercise, it's gonna be really, really fun, right? Especially
Yeah.
once you go through the next episode. So,
Mhm.
time to get real and honest with ourselves. So let's
Yeah.
dive in.
Yeah. Let's do that.
All right. So again, this is episode three, part two of how to set financial goals that are aligned with your vision for 2022 or whatever year you're watching this, because it's going to be relevant when whatever year you're watching it, right? So in today's episodes, we're going to talk about your business expenses and knowing exactly where they are at the moment, your business revenue, and then your new zero. Ooh, what is that? I don't know. We'll see.
Like that.
So business expenses. Let's just kind of talk a little bit about. Is that the next slide? Okay, yeah. Let's kind of talk about net income versus gross revenue, right? So
Mhm.
from the last episode, again, this is why you need to do the last episode before you get to this one. Is you should have had figured out your needed monthly business revenue.
Mhm.
And this one includes ultimately what you what you also need to cover your business expenses. So, yes, we're talking about the personal lifestyle, but obviously the business itself will have its own expenses, right? So, we're going to show you how to figure that out. So, definitely go through, if you haven't done so already or you don't have like some kind of bookkeeping, just estimate this, right? You need to have some idea, an estimate of your business expenses. And I'll tell you, when I did this exercise, I think at the beginning of last year, 2021, I was surprised actually how little my business expenses were. Just like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. And it's because I'm so used to having a fitness gym with rent and employees and all the other stuff and all the vendors and all the advertising stuff. Like it was a lot, right? So hopefully your expenses is a little bit like mine, where it's like more manageable. But either way, you need to know what your estimate amount is if you don't have like a bookkeeping system in place, right? Because you're going to need this number to ultimately set some goals later on. So then we're going to project your monthly revenue. So to do this part, you're going to want to have a list of the products or services that you can sell, right? And so on the example, on the template, and on the slide, by the way, again, if you're watching, sorry, if you're listening to the podcast, we have the slides and visuals on YouTube. So just click on the show notes and it will be there. And then you can also download the slides and the template under the show notes as well, in the show notes. So for example, on the screen, you're going to see Alpha Academy Live. So this is the 12-week mastermind that Mubarak and I do. We don't launch it all the time. We're going to launch it soon. Yay. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
So for example, this was at the old price point. Let's say we want to sell 30 of those at 997, right? So this will give you obviously 997 times 30, right? And then let's say if we were to create an Alpha Academy Evergreen where we're going to be selling the mastermind, uh, the live version, but we're gonna sell the recorded version of the live that coaching that we just did, right? So then obviously the price point will be lower, and then you can set the quantity, right, of how many you'd like to sell, in order to reach your total revenue, and then you go on and you continue to list your products and services, whatever you have, and list as many as you can. And so what you're going to do when you're putting this into the template that we're going to give you is you're going to put a quantity, right, in the quantity column. And of course, you'll have your price point for those products or services. And then the Excel sheet will do the calculations for you. And then it will give you the sum of the projected revenue when you hit those goals, when you hit the total quantity of what you put in there, basically, right? So hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions, just let us know. And then then there would be an area in the template where it will compare your needed monthly business revenue versus your projected total revenue, which is the exercise you just did. So your needed monthly business revenue is from part one of this training. So if you're getting confused, that's where that number will come from. It will make more sense when you're on the template because it will be right there, and there will be a comparison. So obviously you want your projected total revenue to exceed the needed monthly revenue, to be equal or exceed, right? Because obviously the goal is to hit the monthly business revenue that you said that you wanted to have in the previous exercise or episode. So some pro tips as you're going through this is you want to set also a minimum amount of cash reserve for your personal savings account. So obviously that would be all depending on you and how that looks like for you, but it would always be a good idea to set some cash reserve, right? Especially with the world going crazy right now, right? With the recession that's happening, we need something like that in times like these. So just ask, right? Is this currently a part of your goal? When you did your have, do, be exercise, was that a part of your goal already? Was that part of your have goal? That would be a good thing to ask, right? And then, so what you're going to want, depending on where you are right now and in terms of this goal, is at least a 3 to 12 months cash reserve. So I'll give you an idea. In order to actually do this nomad thing, we need to probably be booking stuff like 6 months ahead of time. So that means like I want that 6 month, at least 6 month cushion of like us knowing that we already have booked that far ahead so that like, it eliminates the daily stress of like knowing, oh my gosh, where are we going to be staying next, right? So it just makes life more peaceful, basically. And then you want to do the same thing for your business, right? So you want to set a minimum amount of cash reserve for your business operating account. Again, if you're not there yet, this could be one of your have goals. And so if you add this to your have goals, then that monthly needed revenue is going to increase a little bit, right? And then again, 3 to 12 months cash reserve just makes more sense. And again, is this currently a conscious part of your goal? And so if you go back to your have goals and you're just like meeting your monthly goal every single month, then you're most likely, and you didn't incorporate this in your have goal, then you're never going to achieve it, right? You're never going to achieve what you don't write down or focus on. So definitely put that in your have goal. And if you need to edit it and add to it, definitely put that there, because we believe it's very, very important to have that. So, and then this is the new zero. So I love the idea of this new zero, because ultimately, your new zero is you're making one, you already have at least 3 to 12 months minimum in your personal and business operating accounts. So it's like, okay, that's there, like that's like your new standard, basically. And then your new zero is like whatever you make, um is gonna be, it's like, okay, this is what I normally make, this is what I'm used to, that's your new zero. Anything you make above that is extra, basically, right? And obviously once you start getting there, then it will be more fun to figure out, what am I gonna do with this extra money, right? So that's what I mean by the new zero. So that is really it. We'll stop the share of the slides because that's for episode 4. um, so do you have any like additional comments on that, Mubarak?
Yes, I do. Probably you're watching this and you're gonna think, oh my God, again, I have to look at my numbers and I don't want to do this and that. I'm telling you, if really you want to be able to build an organic business that is stress-free, that it gives you that freedom to reach your goals and desires, this is that part where it's a must do. Remember, you can't always have random things, right? This removes randomness. You know exactly what you need to go after, right? And also when you don't, you know when to come back and see, where do I need to tweak, right? Because if you're just waiting for universe to serve you without the clarity of what you want, it's like showing up at McDonald's and saying, I want a burger, right? Think about it. I want a burger. Like, what burger? Like, they have so many things on there. Right? Also, how much money do you have in your pocket? Right. So it's the same things that you're trying to gamble with it.
Yeah.
Right. So I cannot emphasize that you take time to go where you're watching this right now or listening this right now. There is a way to direct you to download this shit. Take it seriously, right? And also, if you're going with us on this journey, as we're sharing these things, it's going to be very crucial. All right. Something about the new zero that last time other clients were having confusion with. Let me give you a vivid example. Let's say you are making $1,000 and you have mastered all the 6 months, saved everything, and that's your 6,000. It's your 7. So next month, if you make 900, that means you're below. You should be worried. The goal is now the 1,000 to be the new norm.
Yeah.
Every time you come close to it, you should be worried, right? You need to be able chasing to set up another goal. Maybe it's 1,500, so that it's a new zero. 2,000, a new zero. Then that's where you're growing. You're not just scattering. Also, you have something you're looking forward to, right? Can you think about it? Your expenses are paid, everything is good, and now you're setting it as a standard, saying that I'll never go back, right? How much freeing that feeling does. And that's why we recommend that you go, and if you're watching on YouTube, check that. If it's on your website, you can see from there that there is a way for you to download this exercise, download it and take it. And also, we want you to come back and leave us comments. right? Reach out to us, tell us what are you experiencing with this, right? If you're having challenges, let us know too, right? We're not perfect. If you have insights or feedback that you want to give us, don't hold back. Because the more you can do that interactive and reach out to us and do that, and we can give you guidance on that, the more you will enjoy what's coming. Just think
Yeah.
about it. This is just the beginning, right? What if you do this exercise? The easier stuff are going to be what's ahead. I can promise you, this is the hardest thing you ever do when you want to reach your goals.
Yeah.
But it's required, it's that foundation.
Yeah.
The stronger this foundation is, the easier the rest of the journey. So
Yeah.
I want to just take that minute to really take it home that don't jump, right? If you haven't done the first exercise, or even if you didn't know that there is part one to this, go back, watch part one, do the exercise, take your time, and then do part two, and then we'll come back with part three, and then you will see just amount of weight that is lifted off your shoulder just doing this exercise.
Yeah. I like the distinction that you gave where it's like the more that you plan, the less hard the next steps are gonna be. Like literally, like actually now that we're reviewing this this system, I'm like, I think I need to do it because, like, I think the last time I did it was again the beginning of 2021. So I haven't even done it for 2022.
Very
So
good.
I definitely need to do it now that like my lifestyle has changed and now that yeah, everything, a lot of things have changed
Mhm.
already, right? So I think this is actually something that you're gonna want to do at least
Yes.
once a year, maybe every
It's,
6 months, depending on how fast you're growing, right?
mhm.
But definitely once a year. So definitely, like Mubarak said, download the templates, download the slides if you haven't already. There's a slide for each episode, so they're not all together because it's a training series. So make sure that you download this particular slide for this particular episode. And on the next episode, we're gonna drive this home for you. It's gonna truly come together where you're going to realize how important parts one and two are in helping you really align with the mental and emotional goals. Because ultimately, once you do that, it's going to create more harmony in your life and in your relationships. And we
Mhm.
truly mean that. And isn't that all we want? Right. So
Definitely.
this has been Organic Reach X.
And we show you how to grow with the frog organically in your business.
Awesome. We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.